Folks, Ed from Iridium Solutions and the Iridium Group. Welcome to my backyard. I'm out rocking around with a backpack with a little bit of weight in it today. Don't ask what the backpack is. It's just a thing that holds some stuff on my back. Point of today's video is it's hypothermia season. When it comes to doing medical things on people, one thing that you always have to consider is whether or not they are going to be hypothermic. And obviously when it's winter and there's snow everywhere, it's really easy to think about. We've talked before about, anytime that there's massive blood loss, the body goes into shock, and if the body's in shock, the body acts like it's hypothermic anyways. So you can get it any time of the year, but especially now, when the temperatures are already sort of against us, it's a good time to think about it. Lots of first aid kits, trauma kits, mine included. For a very long time have had sort of, space blankets as the thing, and they've got a place, but there's certainly a lot of discussion on the internet now, and it has merit about space blankets being given a way higher priority than they actually deserve. The fact of the matter is a space blanket, especially out in temperatures and weathers like this, is really effective, not to cover yourself up, but its best effect is if you can build a great big fire and sort of set it up behind you to reflect heat back on your back. And I think it's pretty easy to look at that and go, yeah, if we're in a sort of medical situation or a trauma situation, but we still have the time, energy, calories, and physical ability to build a big fire, the injury probably wasn't the life-threatening part immediately. Okay, so space blanket, wrapping it around somebody, not so effective. What's more effective? Making a taco out of it, so basically making a bivy sack, right? But then on top of that, the medical literature is really clear about hypothermia, active warming. That means you can't just put them in there and think that their radiated body heat's going to stave off hypothermia. You need to have a way to warm them up. And so what do? Well, probably the easiest thing available to civilians that you can do, you can keep with you, it's got multiple uses, are hand warmers. They're small, there's not, they don't generate a lot of heat, but they generate a small amount of heat over long periods of time. So what do I mean by hand warmers? For those of you who live in warm climates and maybe haven't seen these, certainly just about everybody who lives up here in Canada has some experience with hand warmers. And we generally, in the wintertime, just start throwing these things everywhere. They're useful for when you're doing outdoor, really anything, right? The kids put them in their gloves or in their pockets so that they can warm their hands up. You can use them to preheat things. Another sort of side note, another use for these, if you have a kit that's all frozen and chest seals and stuff like that, you can take these hand warmers, activate them, put the chest seal with them, and within minutes that thing's thawed out and ready to go. So our hand warmers, there's little 2 packs of sort of small hand warmers. Yeah, you can see that, right? Good for 8 hours. And then there's these larger ones. Okay, there you go. It doesn't really matter what the brand is. It's all effectively the same chemical compound. Having them, they're usually good for 2 years before they start to lose their efficacy, and they're quite inexpensive, honestly. I think a 2-pack of these is $2 or $3 Canadian dollars, so not a lot of money, and they don't take up a lot of space, so pretty useful to have. Obviously, if you have these in your regular sort of wintertime out of door stuff and you're just using them as is, if it came to a trauma scenario where you needed to actively warm someone, right? Someone fell through some ice, somebody was buried in some snow for long enough that their core temperature came down. If they're wet and cold, this is a real problem. We need active warming really fast once we can get them out of the wet clothes. Then having this a segregated setup for hand warmers is a great starting point. Obviously, what we want to do is provide them with a lot more heat than that. We want to get them to a fire inside of a dry vehicle that's got heat coming, inside of a shelter, something like that. But hand warmers and a taco. Now, will most of those Mylar space blankets effectively, can you lay something down on them, fold them over top, and then tape them shut? No. So we're starting with a compromise, right? That means that we have to assume or accept that, hey, we didn't have the space to fill this up, so we're gonna use a smaller one, or start working our way up to the larger, like the light heat reflector blankets, NAR Hypothermia Prevention Management Kits, HPMKs. Those are larger tacos, more layers. They're a lot more, sort of effective. But still, the user manual for all those says, hey, we need active warming. So just remember that. With hypothermia, we need to actively be warming our casualty. And hot hands are a great sort of, fill the gap until you can get to a higher level of care. You can get to somewhere that's got more heat. So consider those. The reason I'm bringing them up is because it's wintertime, and any of you who've ordered from us before, you know that when you order stuff, big or small, and I guess the cat's out of the bag now, some free stuff, especially when you order medical stuff, some free item usually tends to end up in your box, and that's by design. And it's usually not another one of what you ordered. It's something completely different. Might be cohesive bandages, might be some sort of, wrap or something. And what we do, so we try to provide you with more value, provide you with some sort of way of say thank you, we really appreciate you, but also giving you a sample of some item that you may not have seen before, that you may not have used before, gives you the opportunity to practice with that, whatever it is. And I don't guarantee what you're gonna get. It's just what we have on hand, what sort of seems to fit with a person's order. It's all done very randomly. But in the spirit of you having something that you can practice with without having to invest in that thing and see if it works for your system. Or if you know what it is, you can already just take this and go, hey, I can just put this in here. Yay for that. Everyone gets risen up. So that's what we do. So for the rest of the winter, or until supplies run out of these hand warmers, we ordered a pallet of them. I have a lot. Every order is going to come with some. That's the point of this video. You should have some of your own, but if you've got yours in your sort of ski boots or in your vehicle for your outside recreation stuff, order some medical stuff from iridiumsolutions.ca, and you're going to get some of these in with it. You might get some other stuff too, but that's our sort of winter hypothermia awareness promotion. So that's what I want to say about that. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I've got another half hour of walking around with this, whatever this amount of weight is on my back. So I feel like I've done some work today. So I'm gonna go. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay warm, okay? But still get outside. Remember, when it comes to this medical stuff, you're only as good as what you know. What you have is the first step, but what you know is the real important stuff. So get training, okay? You can come to us if you're in Canada. If you're in America, go to our friends at Refuge Training. Those two options will get you completely squared away. No matter what your emergency is going to be, we've got something for you. Stay safe. Keep getting after it. Final thing for you, add-on program. We just started one. So Amazon's had an add-on program for years, and I always liked it. I always searched for add-on on Amazon so I could find what little things I could just sort of throw in there. It's a great idea because we've got lots of little sort of hospital-grade medical items that are a couple of dollars a piece. It doesn't make any sense for me to sell those sort of a la carte and then just suffer because the shipping cost is the shipping cost. I mean, I offer $12.99 shipping. Most places in Canada, the shipping's a lot higher. So what do we do to balance this out? We do an add-on program where with your cart over $75, these items are 25% off. I'm not going to tell you what they are because truth in advertising, I want you looking at all the pages on the website. I want you to go searching through and find things that will be useful to you that can help you sort of upgrade yourself. So that's up to you to go find them, but they're there, okay? And if you've got 75 bucks in your cart or you're working up to it, then those items automatically get a 25% discount. You may have heard before in the medical side of equipment, there's not a lot of margins. 25 is actually, let me just say there's some really good deals, okay? So add-ons are here at iridiumsolutions.ca. Get in there, check around, get something good for yourself. Remember, anything that we have on the website is in stock. Nothing will be shipping 2 weeks from now or whenever. It's shipping now. So get some. Out.